before we jump into it, let me introduce you. My guest today and my right hand in business, my bestie, my MVP of Brookes bail bonding, the one, the only, Tanya Mayhew.
Hello, Brooklyn. How are you?
Hello. Hello, how are you, my nearest and dearest friend?
If I was doing any better, I'd have to sell that shit in stores.
And I would definitely buy it because it's good.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So today, we're going to talk about the salacious bail industry, our clients, the behind-the-scenes corruption, and of course, we got to touch on your previous employer, the sheriff's department, and all of the corruption that goes on there. So let's get into it. So Tanya, okay, let's talk about what you do for Brookes bail bonding.
I do everything.
Of course you do.
When I make a bond, not only do I do the paperwork and take the money and that's it. You know, it's like, this is just not a money-making business because we care.
Yeah, you go above and beyond.
You know, we all go above and beyond. I may write a bond, and the client, elderly, they prey on the poor. They prey on the people that don't have a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And they ride the bus down here. They're coming down here walking. It's 105 fucking degrees outside. Nobody deserves that. God. And believe it or not, everybody that goes to jail is not guilty.
Right. Yeah.
We bond out attorneys, police officers, judges, every fucking body. Mm-hmm. So nobody's excluded.
Right.
So for the people that try to pass judgment on the people that get locked up, shit, we done got your dentist out. We done got your gynecologist out. We getting every fucking body out.
I know that's right.
So...
So what do you say, like, makes you different than just what someone would say is a regular bail agent? Like, what do you, when you say you go above and beyond, like, what do you do to go above and beyond for your clients? Give me an example.
I meet them where they're at.
Okay.
If they don't have a ride to the office, I may go to their house, get the paperwork filled out.
Yeah.
I may pick up the client when they get out.
Right.
Because sometimes they be at Harding Place and sometimes they be downtown.
Yeah. And I know that there's times I've called you and you've been like out to dinner, like taking your clients out to eat.
I do that.
I
vest in those who vest in me.
Yeah, that's important. I say that all the time. Like this season of my life, like I'm investing in the people that are investing in me. I feel like I definitely try to spread the investment out with the community and everybody that I know and love.
I got that shit from you.
You did. You did. Your best mentor. But the thing is like, I feel like you really do try to invest in your people. And I feel like we all do, but especially you life coach your people. You really try to help them and walk them through the system. Like you mentioned, we bond out a lot more innocent people, you know, and we really have to help them navigate through the system. Some of these people have never even been arrested before, right. You know?
I worked at the Davis County Sheriff's Office for like 18 years, and I didn't care to know what they did. Right. Because you move different when you know what someone did.
Correct.
Because if they're not, now in the courts it's guilty till proven innocent, not innocent till proven guilty. Mm-hmm. So nobody has a chance.
Yeah, that's right. No, you're absolutely right. And that's the thing is like we definitely try not to like stereotype. Going back to when we say that we go above and beyond for people, I know like we have provided Christmas for families, right? Yeah. Like we provided turkeys and Thanksgiving meals for families.
In this climate where all the aggravated assaults and domestics, we even have paid for ankle monitors for people that couldn't afford to get out and go back to work.
Yeah, that's another thing. Is like there's so many people now that have to be put on ankle monitors since the new laws have passed. And I've had people come in and I've called and talked to people at the DA's office or whoever. And I'm like, well, what do we do? They're saying they don't have the money. The only option is to put them back in jail. So we've taken money out of our own pockets to pay for them. But we really don't have to do any of those things, right? Like, what do you feel like is really your job under the scope of the law? What do you have to do as a bail agent?
To fucking help. This is a climate, nobody has anything.
Yeah.
The minimum wage, that's who the fuck they hunt. The people that don't have anything.
Yeah.
You know, you got somebody working at Wendy's, you got a mother, and she has 4 sons. She's working at Wendy's, McDonald's, and KFC. When the fuck does she see her kids?
Right. So you're saying when they set the 10%, we help them, meaning we may not charge them the full 10%.
Correct.
Okay. That we may just take half on that bond and let them pay payments or whatever, their budget allows, right?
Yeah.
So, but here's the thing. When I say we really don't have to do that, because really our job under the scope of the law is to bond someone out of jail, okay, for 10%. So if the bond is $100,000 or $50,000, we're going to take 10% of that. If it's $100,000, we're going to take $10,000, right? If it's 50, how much do we take?
50,000. I mean 5,000 for
right.
the 50,000.
This isn't Kentucky.
Yeah.
We don't take the full cash. Could you imagine though, like living in Kentucky or places like that if you go to jail, you have to pay that full amount of the bond. So if they set your bond at $50,000, baby, you got to pay that $50,000 in Kentucky.
That's those Commonwealth states. It's not fair.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not. But in Tennessee, they do have where you can pay 10%. And that is what we do. We take 10% on that bond. $100,000 bond, we take $10,000. Here's the thing. This is where our job comes in. And this is a full-time job. Yeah. In the event that they do not go to court, okay, so we bond them out. We collect the premium. Now they're going to court. If they stop going to court or they don't show up for court, it is our job to go get those people. That is a full-time job. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then if we don't go get those people, we have to pay that full amount of money to the court. So if it's $100,000, we have to pay $100,000 to the court. Yeah. $50,000. If it's $50,000, we pay that $50,000. And we're out here looking for them. It's like, because who else is going to do it? Is Metro going to go look for them?
No. They don't even fucking help. And a lot of times the people don't go to court due to fear.
Right. Yeah.
Like, you can't get good representation because a lot of the public defenders just see them as, like, I'll see you at the court date.
Yeah,
these are motherfuckers' lives.
But some attorneys do that, too. Yeah. Here's the thing. I always say that. There's really good public defenders, and I know some, and they're my friends.
I know some, too.
And there's really good attorneys, and I know some, and some of them are my best friends. But there's really shitty attorneys. There's really shitty public pretenders. You know what I mean? So we can't just put them all under one umbrella and be like they're garbage. No, some of them are really good and they help them. But when people don't have the means to pay for an attorney and they're appointed an attorney or they have a public defender that has a million other cases, their case just doesn't get the attention that it needs. You know, that's the bottom line. And I think that people have this misconception of like who we really are, what we really do. You know, we're not state actors. You know what I mean? Right. Like we're a private business. And if we did not have bail bonding companies, think about how many people would be sitting in jail for years on end until their trial date. We have people. How long have you had somebody on bond?
5 years.
Yeah, 5 years or plus. Yeah, I have somebody on bond right now that's been on bond with me over 6 years.
What people need to understand is the bail bonding companies provide a service, just like a bank provides a service. Mm-hmm. That's what we do. We provide a service so they can be out to go to work, to live a normal life while their court proceedings continue. Right.
So they don't lose their job, so they don't lose their housing, so they don't lose their children, you know, all of the things. Imagine if they had to sit in jail for those 5 or 6 years. What would happen?
And then their case gets thrown out. The fuck? You've done the time.
You've done the time. By the 5 years and you're innocent? You know what I mean? Like, it makes no sense.
And then you fuck around and get out and you still can't get a job. Get the fuck out of here.
Right.
I'm starting to get mad now. I'm fucked up for real. Man.
No, it is though. It is like just infuriating to think about the people that would sit in jail and that sometimes do sit in jail because they can't make bail. And then you have people who have absolutely no fucking idea what we do and what we have to go through. And it's they have unrealistic expectations. Like, they think that we go get a motherfucker out of jail, that we're supposed to handcuff them to bed, that we're supposed to be the behavior police, that we're supposed to track every movement, that we're supposed to make sure that they, you know, don't go over JoJo's house or, you know, like, we don't do that. That's not what we do.
We provide
by law, we get them out at that 10%. We commit our money to the court as collateral, and we make sure they go to court. And if they don't go to court, we go and get them because no fucking body else is going to do it, period. Correct. And if we can't find them, we have to pay the money for the bond. Like, we are the one to carry that burden. That's a full-time job for us. And so it's so unrealistic that people have these expectations that we just are fucking babysitters, that, oh my God, they go out and get another job. It's the bonding company's fault. It's this, it's that. Like, that's unrealistic. And that is not a burden that we should have to carry, period.
Right. This is the new slavery. That's what the fuck it is. It's the new slavery. Keep everybody broke, oppressed, so they won't worry about anything else. Nobody worries about success if you broke.
Because they're in survival mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's absolutely crazy. We talked about this earlier, how we don't discriminate. Somebody will say, well, how do you bond these awful criminals out? Well, we don't know if they're awful criminals.
Right.
We don't judge them. Like, we it's like going to the bank to get a loan. You know what I mean? Like, do you think criminals go to the bank and get a loan?
All the time.
What kind of people go to the bank and get a loan?
Every fucking body.
Correct, right?
Everybody. Fucking body.
Everybody goes to the bank and gets a loan. So they're not going to say, oh, you might be this or you might be this. We're not going to give you a loan because of these things, right? Because they would fucking have a lawsuit of discrimination.
As they should.
Right. Now, I've had people threaten lawsuits, you know what I mean, for multiple different things, but I know that someone can't file a lawsuit on me for discrimination. However, when it comes to, am I discriminating on whether they are, innocent and guilty, things like that, I try to be very, unbiased when it comes to, not judging if someone is innocent or guilty, right? Like, I try to be not judgmental at all, and I know you do the same thing, because we don't know.
I don't know anybody's story.
Right. We don't
I know that people lie every fucking day.
Every fucking day.
And a lot of people is there because somebody got upset.
Right.
When I used to work for the Davidson County Sheriff's Office, people used to put charges on their boyfriends because they caught them cheating and then come to visitation every visit. That's some sick shit.
It is real
It don't
sick
have
shit.
anything to do with me, but I've seen the worst.
Right. And they should be charged. That's the thing. If you're putting fake charges on these people, you should be fucking charged, period. Absolutely, period. And my thing is this, back to what I said about, we don't know if they're innocent or guilty.
Right.
People will say, well, you don't look at their, history. That some of them aren't even from here. You know what I mean? No, I don't look at their history. I look at, they're coming through this door. I don't know if they're innocent or guilty, but I know this. I bond out a lot more people that are innocent that are fucking guilty. Yeah. I don't know who's going to go to court and take a plea that they're guilty. I don't know who's going to go to court and be found innocent in a court of law. I don't have a crystal ball. If I did, I would be a fucking billionaire, because I would never bond out someone that I knew was going to run. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like right now, it's like I go to the craps table every day. Just roll the dice. You know what I mean? Are you going to go to court, or am I going to have to pay the court $100,000? Or am I going to have to, go 48 hours and go look for your ass until I find you and then I can finally go to sleep? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, people don't understand what we do, and they think that, oh, we just bond out all of these criminals. What does a criminal look like, Tanya? When they say criminal, what is how do we decide who's a criminal and who doesn't? What do they look like?
They look like judges. They look like attorneys. They look like policemen. They look like the person that work at Wendy's. Anybody can be a fucking criminal.
Yeah, you don't know. And some of them that we bond out, like I said, they're guilty. Some of them are innocent. We don't know.
I've had so many people to do right by us go to court and take a plea only because they didn't have the money to fight it.
Oh my God, so many people. I said, you know what? I've talked to my clients and I'm like, why did you plead guilty to that? You're not guilty. Why did you not go to trial? You know what I mean? I don't have that kind of money. I don't have that type of time. I don't have that type of energy to keep taking off doing this, coming up there fighting this case. And what if I go to the trial and the motherfucking jury is racist and I go to prison for life?
And that's why it's the new fucking slavery.
It's the new slavery.
As long as they got you in the fucking system, they can control what you do. You can't get a good job. And then it's like everybody's in survival mode. They know if they go to their next court date, if they can't pay their attorney, if you don't pay them, you're going to jail. And then they won't go to court.
Sad. Yeah, and that's really sad. That's really sad that is the climate that we're living in right now. And another part of the climate that we're living in is in the bail industry. We are such a target and such a scapegoat all the time. I can't tell you how many people call me daily in my industry, and I have to fucking talk them off the Batman building. Yeah. Or I have to talk them out of closing their company down or walking away. People just get sick and tired of being sick and tired.
We're unprotected because
and
they can't control it.
Right.
They can't control the money. Like,
Yeah.
they want to say they got a God complex up there. So you got people with a God complex. Well, now they're going to bond him out after he done cussed me out. They're taking it personal instead of doing a fucking job. Fucking job. Fucking
Right.
job.
Correct. Do your fucking job is what she's saying. But here's the thing. So when we talk about being targets and scapegoats and, you know, whatever, like, especially in the media, like, we are beat up so badly in the media. Can we talk about that a little bit? Like, why do you think that is?
Because they're ignorant. You don't.
The journalists or the
Yeah, they're
the
ignorant
reporters.
because they're ignorant because they don't know what we do. They'll probably ask some disgruntled employees from a bonding company that's not making numbers or doing anything, and they'll just speak, and they think they got it. Like, this is what the bonding company does. The bonding company didn't go over the house and arrest the people. The bonding company doesn't have arresting powers. We can pick up a body for failure to appear if they don't appear in court.
Yeah.
But we don't have arresting powers.
Right. We can't just go out and say, we're the behavior police. You're not supposed to be over this person's house. You're not supposed to be doing this. Like, we don't do that. That's not fucking realistic expectations. What would you say to your bail industry when they are in the climate of being sick and tired of being sick and tired? They're talking about going on strike. They said we're unfucking appreciated. We're undervalued. We're a target in the system. We're a scapegoat in the system. We're a target in the media. Like, people are really ready to just shut down shop and say, fuck this shit. Y'all must just fucking sit in jail. We're not doing this shit anymore.
Be patient, because they'll be gone before we will.
Yes. Be patient. I say that all the time. I said, you know what? I have to guide my thoughts back to love all the time. I have to stay prayed up. I have to stay in the light, because we're living in we're in the darkest corners. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dealing with what we deal with and the people that we deal with, not the clients. When we walk in that courthouse, it's some real dark energy in there.
And the funny part is, the police can go on a call to pick up somebody and they end up dead, and the bonding companies pick them up all the time. For whatever reason,
Right.
they be alive.
Right.
The fuck?
Right. Well, like our client, Dan, that like got shot in the
Shot
back.
him in the fucking back. Fucking ridiculous, man.
What happened to them?
Oh, I think they took him to fucking McDonald's. I don't know what the fuck they did.
God,
They
that's
didn't do what they
awful.
should have did
That's awful.
to that policeman.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Dan.
R.I.P. Dan. Yeah. And you know what? And it's so sad. That's another part of it. It's like, what people don't see, what we see. Like, we see what happens to our clients. We see the abuse of power. We see them get killed. We see all of these horrendous things that happen to them. We see them get oppressed. We see them, a lot of them, truly innocent and just don't have the means to fight their case. Another thing that we do that, you know, people are like, well, you don't have to do that. No, the fuck we don't. But we do it anyway. We help our clients that are truly innocent if they don't have the means to be able to investigate their case or to fight their case. We help them. We link them with private investigators. We help navigate through the system. We help them prove their innocence. We help them raise awareness to what's going on. And I think too, like, as a high profile company, I think that's another reason that we're targeted so much.
Yeah.
I really do, because, you know, I say this all the time. When God is working, the devil's lurking. Period.
Sure know what to
Period.
say.
And another thing too, I think that people, I've talked to 3 people today that said, Brooke, do you know how much time and energy and money I have spent on frivolous lawsuits? Just bullshit lawsuit after lawsuit. We've all experienced it. We've all been targets, you know, in the industry, especially if you're in a high profile company. Like, frivolous lawsuit after frivolous lawsuit after frivolous lawsuit. And so many people are like, same thing, fuck this shit. I'm just going to shut this shit down, liquidate my money, invest in something else and make 3 times more. You know, people just get sick and tired of being sick and tired of being a target. And people, and here's what I say all the time. You have attorneys that are fucking clout chasers, that are ambulance chasers. If you are someone like us at Brooks Bonding that's a high profile company with a high profile name, they know if they attach your name to a lawsuit with their name, they're going to be populated in the media. You know what I mean? They might be a nothing ass attorney and need a little bit of that clout, a little bit of that attention, make a name for themselves. See, that's bullshit. And this is what I tell people. If you do the right thing all the time, you're going to come out right.
Yeah.
So don't ever settle. Don't ever fold. I've said that all the time. If I got hit with a lawsuit tomorrow, I would pay more money in legal fees than the motherfuckers were asking for that lawsuit before I paid those bitches $1.
You're right.
Why? Because if I fold,
because you set a precedent.
You set the precedent
for everybody to fucking sue.
That's right. If I fold and I say I'm just going to settle because I don't want to deal with it, or I'm done paying legal fees or whatever, which is what they're banking on, they want you to settle. Mm-hmm. Hell no, I'm not going to settle anything, because if I do, that opens the portal for the next person and the next person and the next person to sue people in my industry for doing their motherfucking job. I'm not going to do that. Yeah. Absolutely not.
Y'all not getting shit from me. I'm filing bankruptcy on your motherfucking ass. Mm-hmm.
No, let me tell you what I'm going to do. Here's the thing. People say, well, I got to keep paying the legal. No, you don't. This is what you do. You motherfucking follow Rule 11. And you file sanctions on that garbage ass attorney that's filing a frivolous lawsuit on you with no basis at all. You make that motherfucker pay the legal fees, period. Mm-hmm. And you countersue these garbage ass motherfuckers that are suing you for baseless claims. That's what you do. Mm-hmm. Then you set the precedents to these garbage ass attorneys. Bitch, you're going to pay my legal fees. Bitch, you're going to get reprimanded. Bitch, you're going to get sanctioned. And I'm going to tell everybody who you are. Right? That's the thing. Like, you have to set the precedent. Stop letting them control the narrative. Yeah. It makes me so mad. I get so passionate about my industry.
Say it again.
I get so motherfucking passionate about my industry. I love y'all, man, and it makes me so fucking mad to see angry. People target the people that I love, to see people try to use them as scapegoats, file these frivolous lawsuits, do all this stuff. No, we got to stand up. We got to stand up. We got to rise up. We got to rise together. And we got to say enough is enough. Yeah. And we are going to come for your motherfucking asses. I say that all the time. Listen, you can come for me and I'm going to play chess with you and I'm going to, keep it classy. But if you come for my people, baby, I'm going to be the biggest motherfucking grizzly bear you've ever seen. I'm going to woof and poof and tear your motherfucking house down. Little Red Riding Hood up in this bitch.
I believe her.
No, but I'm serious though. Like, don't come for my people. Don't come for my industry, and don't come for my people. Period. Yeah. Because my people aren't coming for you. They're doing right. They're doing the right thing, and they're servicing this community. Right? That's the thing. Is like, we are providing a service. We are providing your constitutional right to make bail. Period. Yeah. And if we didn't give you that right, you'd sit your motherfucking ass in jail, even if you were innocent and you'd lose everything. That's the real. That's the motherfucking real. Let's talk about the climate that we're living in, where we bond out people for domestic assault. And, all these laws are changing for that, and they got to have an ankle monitor and all of these things. And we bond out people a lot of times that are innocent, right? Like, as you mentioned, walk me through that. When you bond out a client for domestic, of course we bond out people that are really guilty. Like, they really smacked their girlfriend. You know what I mean? Or they really did this or that. But we bond out a lot more people that really did not do that. So walk me through that. Why do you feel like we're bonding out a lot of people on these domestic assault charges that are really innocent?
The husband and wives. The husband, they live together. They got kids. They argued. Somebody called the police. Now they got to have an ankle monitor, got to stay in a hotel room. It's unrealistic. They don't have that kind of money. Right. We live in a climate where you're ruining families. Mm. You're ruining families because everybody gets an ankle monitor. An ankle monitor is like $250, $275 down, and $70 up to $400
now, yeah,
and $70 a week. Mm-hmm. So that's a house note. You got another house note. You might as well have a mistress.
Right. And a lot of them might. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they do behind closed doors. But listen, here's what I know for sure. I bonded out someone who, by the grace of God, really was on an ankle monitor. And this girl just kept pressing charges on him. He didn't want to be with her, right?
He had another girlfriend.
Yeah, he had another girlfriend. She just kept pressing charges, kept pressing charges, kept pressing charges. One day, the girl said that he ran her off the road. He was at work. Mm-hmm. He said, I was at work, Miss Brooke. I did not run the girl off the road. I don't talk to her. I don't want to talk to her. She's an American Psycho. Like, I don't want to deal with this girl anymore. I just want to go to work, come home to my girl, take care of my kids, all the things. So they arrest him. His bond, $75,000. Now, In the great city of Davidson County, if your bond's $75,000, what happens?
Source hearing.
You got to have a source hearing, which means you got to sit your ass in jail until you can prove where that $7,500 comes from.
It's fucking ridiculous.
It is fucking ridiculous, and that's unconstitutional for real. Like, that is really... Here's the thing. That'd be like me going to hire an attorney. I don't have to source my money when I go hire an attorney. Why would I have to source the money that I'm bonding out on? That doesn't even make sense.
They started that because them young boys with the money, they were able to bond out and talk their shit, and then the police got tired of it, so they made a complaint.
Yeah.
Like, they're making us look like fools.
Right.
And now you have to have source hearings. Show where the money comes from. Everybody don't want to show like their money. It's intrusive.
Right. It is intrusive. And they shouldn't have to show it. That's unconstitutional as fuck. And people sat in jail. I've had clients that have sat in jail for over a month, over 30 days, to try to get their bank statements together, to try to show where the money comes from. Some people don't even have a bank account. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's the reality. And the thing of it is like, back to my client that was on bond, that was on this ankle monitor. The girl just kept trumping up charges, said that he ran her off the road, all this stuff. He said, Brooke, I didn't run the girl off the road. I was at court. He was on a $75,000 bond, and he had to have a source hearing. He sat in there for weeks. Guess what happened? We got with the ankle monitoring company. The attorney got the proof in the pudding that he was at work from his ankle monitor, and they released him. Now, they should charge that motherfucking girl. She should be ashamed.
Yeah.
She should be ashamed. But girls do this shit, and guys do it too, just not as much. But girls do this shit all the time because they're in their feelings that he don't want to be with you. He wants to go be with this girl or this girl or this girl. So they play the system, and they keep them in the system. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. And the thing of it is like, it's so unrealistic to say, you know, now they're saying, oh, people on domestic assault, they shouldn't get out at all. They shouldn't. What? Do you know how many motherfucking people go to jail on domestic assault every day and they really didn't do it?
Motherfuckers minding somebody else's business, calling the police. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. It is really ridiculous. And see, and that's the thing. What makes it bad are there really people that are abusive, males and females, both. There are really people in abusive relationships. There are really people that do need restraining orders, that do need to be on ankle monitors, that are really guilty.
I only refused to do one person's bond in my whole career. A lady came to our office. She had both of her eyes were swollen shut. And she came to co-sign for somebody. I said, are you trying to co-sign for the person who did that to you? And she said, yeah, if I don't, he's going to hurt me. I said, yeah, I can't do that.
Right. Yeah. And that's and I would be the exact same way. See, that's the thing. That's the crystal ball. That's when you know they're motherfucking guilty. Yeah. Like, we don't know it. We don't know. But in that situation, if you have somebody coming to you, bloodied up, black eyes, trying to bond their people out, saying they did this to me, oh no, baby, I'm not doing that either. Right. But there are a lot of people that we bond out that they just have girls that play the system. Period.
Yeah.
Period. Like, that's the thing. I mean, it's unrealistic to think that you should keep all these people in jail and not give them a bond because they've been charged with domestic. But that's what they're trying to do. That's what they're trying to do. That's the move. What do you think when it comes to people who think that we're supposed to notify victims, that we have the addresses of the victim, all of this stuff? Walk me through that. Do we notify victims?
Okay. We don't have that kind of pertinent information. The only thing that we're privy to when we bond someone on domestic out, we get the affidavit, and sometimes they black the victim's name out.
Right.
We don't get addresses or anything. So when our client comes in, he has to fill in the blanks because we don't get anything.
Mm-hmm. So who provides the bonding company with the victim's information? Do we get
the
provided?
Client? No, right. Nobody.
They might put them down as a reference, right? We don't get any of that information because it's not our motherfucking job. We don't call the victim's family.
They have
we don't do any
notification.
Of that. They have victim notification. Who does that?
At the sheriff's office.
Is that who does it?
Mm-hmm.
Is it the sheriff's office, the DA's office?
It's a system that anybody that's a part of a domestic they get automatically called when the person is released.
Okay. So what about the victims, whether they really are victims or they're play victims or, whatever the case may be? What is their responsibility in the court system? Do they have to go to court?
Okay. The victim's responsibility is to prosecute.
Okay.
To go and tell them what he did or her did. That's their job. That's their responsibility to themselves and the courts, to make sure the person who did this pays for what they did.
Okay. All right. So it's important that, they go to court and stand on that. And what if they're lying? What if they make it up? What's their responsibility then?
Now, the ones who's lying and just wanting him to go to jail to show her or his power, they just don't go to court.
Okay. So that's what they do. They just don't show up. That's how they keep.
And they don't show up 3 times, and they usually just throw it out.
Yeah. So a lot of people have said if people make false police reports and say that someone did something to them, no matter what it is, and they're truly innocent and they're fucking lying, should they be charged?
Yeah. Sure, they should be charged.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think so too. I think if you file a false police report and this person turns out to truly be innocent, or you admit that you've lied, you should be charged. Period. Yeah, period. So what do you think? What is the responsibility of the court?
Their responsibility is to ensure that the judges and the victims and the judges, the victims, and wait a minute, the judge is doing what they're supposed to do by enforcing. They're supposed to enforce everything that goes on with the cases.
Okay.
So when you got the judge, they're going to make sure the judge is going by the precedent set. Yeah. They don't overdo anything. So they're kind of watching over and making sure they're doing the right thing.
Okay.
And the judge's responsibility is to be non-biased when he's dealing with the all the information that they're taking in the courtroom. Okay. So let's just say it was a burglary. The judge is going to listen to all the facts, the proof, and everything, and the judge is going to determine whether they're going to have another court date, or he's going to even have him or her is even going to have a bond.
Okay. Okay.
That's after they listen to everything, see the pictures and everything. The judge is the one who says, well, this person, I don't think he'll reoffend, or just to be on the safe side, let's put an ankle monitor on him. Okay. If we're going to release
that's the judge's
somebody
decision.
Like that.
So not our decision.
Correct.
The judge makes those decisions.
By all the information and the testimony is provided.
Okay. So we just give them their constitutional right to make bail off of the bond that the judges set.
We provide the service.
We provide the service. AKA their constitutional right to make bail off of what stipulations and bonds the judges set or the commissioner sets if they go in. Okay. So I think people are really misguided on that part too. I think some people think that we set the bond, we make the bond, we have all the capability of the crystal ball. Here we go with that motherfucking psychic Sylvia Brown. Come to the stage on Montel Williams today. Tell me, talk to your spirit guides. Are they going to go to court today? Are they going to get out and get other charges? What are they going to do? You know what I mean? They have this misconception that we're for real supposed to do that. Right. You know what I mean? That's unrealistic expectations.
I wish everybody kind of knew what we have to go through to do as they ask of us.
Absolutely. Yeah, I say that all the time. What is the responsibility of the co-signers?
The co-signer is supposed to ensure that the bond, they fill out the paperwork, the bond is paid, and they're realistically being honest on their application, and they keep up with the principal. Okay. The principal is the person who bonded out of jail, and they have to ensure that they go to all their court dates.
Yeah. And then what about the defendant? What's their responsibility?
To go to court. Okay. To go to court, to come straight to the office after he fills out the paperwork. Right. And to go by whatever rules the court has for him and the bonding company has for him. Okay. So sometimes the bonding company may say you have anything over $25,000, you have to check in every Friday. Yeah. And the courts may tell them something else. The courts may have them on where they have to have drug tests and all that
Ankle
stuff.
monitors
They have
and
to do
whatever.
all of that.
Yeah.
They have to do
and
all
we
of
don't
that.
have anything to do with that. See, that's another thing. We're not the ankle monitor company. We
No.
don't put ankle monitors on them. We're not tracking their every movement. That's the ankle monitoring company. We don't do anything like that. But what we do if they don't go to court is what? Go pick them up. Go pick them up. And see, that's a problem too. That's a problem in our industry too, because people go to fucking jail, right? We have this contract with the devil, right? AKA the court system. Okay. And it says if they do not go to court, you have to pick them up and bring them to court.
Yeah.
And guess what? Because what else? No one else is doing that, right? Nobody else is going to go get them. Metro's not going to go get them unless they get stopped in traffic because they got to meet their quota. You know what I mean? We're going to do that. But what happens is, we have to go out there and do our job to do that. And you have people, AKA police officers, that are supposed to be assisting, but they come out and arrest fucking bail agents.
Yeah.
It's insanity.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yes, fucking ridiculous. We were looking for someone because they didn't go to court and they were on the run. And we pulled over a policeman, and the policeman refused to help, only because they didn't get along with somebody.
Right.
So they refused to help.
Yeah, they're not going to help you. They're not going to help you. But if they come out there, you're going to go to motherfucking jail.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, really. And people have no idea what all we have to go to, though. They just don't. They don't have any idea.
We all went to fucking jail.
You all went to fucking jail, yes.
We all went to fucking
and the
jail.
motherfucking Mama Miss Grizzly Bear came out then, too.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, like, your background prior to being in the bail industry. You worked at the sheriff's department. You mentioned that. Let's talk about the salaciousness going on and the corruption that goes on at the sheriff's department. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, you know, they've become very lax on the hiring process. They got people bringing in drugs, same as the penitentiary. If you don't vet the people good enough, well enough, you're gonna have that kind of stuff. You got the people overdosing. You have them releasing them days later, and you know that's kidnapping.
Right.
You know, like nobody's being accountable. Nobody's accountable. Everybody's. Well, it was a miscommunication. It can't be a fucking miscommunication every fucking day.
Every day.
You know.
Every day. I can't tell you, too, like, how many people that are court ordered to be on ankle monitors and they have to be installed before they come out, and they just fucking let them go. They just release them. We're left to pick up their mess, too, pick them up, take them to be put on an ankle monitor. Yeah. Like, what goes on there? What is going on behind those closed doors? Like, why don't they do their motherfucking job?
Yeah. A lot of it is they don't know their job. A lot of people were put in positions where they haven't been properly trained. They're just throwing people around.
Right.
You know, like, if you don't train the people to do the job, they can't do the job. Mm. And then when you make a suggestion, you are enemy number one. Oh, there she goes again.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
It's no good. We can't run like a wheel if everybody's not doing their part. Everybody has an obligation so it can run like a wheel.
Right.
Believe it or not, we're the allies. We're supposed to be the allies of the courts.
100%.
The ankle monitor company. They see us as enemies for whatever reason.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
They've let go of the wrong person before, only because they didn't listen to the bonding company, you know.
Yeah, it's insane.
I've
literally had them call us and say, we released the wrong person. Can you go get him? Fuck no, I'm not going to go get him. With no warrant, you released the wrong Hey.
Merry motherfucking Christmas.
Call Metro. Right. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. Call Metro to go get him.
But you know what? Even in that scenario, they tried to pull us in.
Yeah.
Like, stop that. You released the wrong person.
You released the wrong individual. Yeah. Stop fucking. We're not your fucking scapegoat. Stop with the bullshit. Stop. Here's another thing, too. Like, you talked about, like, them bringing in drugs, right? So, how are they getting these drugs into these jails? How are these people overdosing and dying in these jails?
Well, you know, like, when we were there, you know, they'll fill up the bottles of Sprite, and it'd be gin or vodka. They go on a break to the car, and go get some drugs, bring it on in.
When you say they, the people that work in the jail, in the sheriff's departments.
The people that work there and their family members. Like, say you got a rock man working up front. Well, if the same people search you every day, they know where they search and where they don't search.
Right.
So they may put it in between their ass cheeks because they know that this motherfucker ain't finna make me open my ass cheeks.
Right.
So they'll go to the bathroom, they'll clean the front, go to the bathroom. Somebody would have came there and put it in a trash can.
Yeah.
And they hope the lazy person is working. So then they'll take the pack back to the
Is it a lot
cell.
of lazy people that's working?
Oh yeah. It's then went all the way down. You know, when we was there,
Since
we
you
was
left,
all
yeah.
fucking stars. But nah.
What was your, when you were there? What was your position in the sheriff's department?
I was a officer, sergeant, then lieutenant.
Okay.
That's in the days where we cared.
Right.
Like, ain't nobody gonna fuck with nobody.
Now they just don't give a fuck.
They don't give a fuck. I seen somebody at the store. They was like, "Miss Mayhew, come back, help." I just said, "Stop going." You know?
All right, stop going. That's awful, man. Like, here's another thing too. Like, back when you worked there, that was a long time ago. Y'all didn't have tablets yet, did you?
No,
They
really don't have tablets now. The motherfuckers are never charged.
They don't let them charge them.
No,
That's why
they have to wait till the officer charges the tablets, and if they don't get charged, they don't get charged.
So now they do a lot of their visits like on these tablets and different things. They don't have like actual visitors coming in and whatever. So when people say these people are getting drugs in here, they're overdosing, they're this, they're that, how the fuck are they getting them in if there's no family members or visitors coming in?
Well, you have rock men. You have inmates that they have scheduled to come out and clean.
Okay.
So you may have somebody who gets an AccuCheck. If they're diabetic, they go to the clinic. So when they go to the clinic, they may get it from a nurse. Or the rock man could have left it in a trash can. I mean, they're housed together.
Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah,
and then the employees bring it in too.
Oh, for sure.
I heard somebody say that they make more money bringing in dope and cigarettes than they make working there.
You can get like $300 a pack for some cigarettes.
As an employee bringing it into the jail.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a thing.
That's crazy. And same thing with drugs, I'm assuming.
And tobacco. Yeah, you know, all of that.
That's awful. Why do you think they sweep all of these drug overdoses under the rug?
Because you can't make it seem like it's unsafe. You know, grown folks become children when you start telling the truth. That's why when they talk about crime in Nashville, you never hear the true amount because people wouldn't want to move here.
Yeah. Let's talk about your experience while working at the sheriff's department with these men who have been getting sexually assaulted. How and why does that happen?
They usually try to keep them separated. Like if somebody comes in and they're flamboyant means that they are who they are. They come in, they lipstick, eyelashes, hair. They may put them in a cell with like-minded people.
Okay.
But you can't do that if they say they want to be in general population.
Okay.
Some people are comfortable with who they are.
Okay.
And they can fight.
Okay.
So they go in general population, and you get people from all walks of life. You get people getting ready to go to the pen, and then they'll go to the shower, and a lot of it don't be assaults. A lot of it be consensual.
Oh, really?
So they get hit in the showers. You know, when the doors open every 30 minutes, they may run in there before it closes and do whatever. You know, have sex and then come out.
Right. And some of it's not consensual?
A lot of it's not. Wait a minute. A lot of it is consensual, but some of it is not. One night, this is when I first started, it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and we heard a scream. And it was this young man, and his mouth was locked open.
Oh, my God.
And he couldn't close it because the guy who did it popped his. It never happened to me. My gosh, he popped his hinges on his mouth, and he had to go out on an ambulance because when they popped it, they had to break his jaw to close his mouth.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
What the hell was that consensual?
No.
Oh my God, that's awful. That was not consensual.
No, that wasn't consensual, but my second day at the job. I was working on the 5th floor, and it's not a funny story, but it was this guy. They just took the weights out the jail.
Yeah.
Everybody was buff like that.
Yeah.
So it was this real buff dude, and I was getting ready to do a cell check, and somebody said, "Yeah," that mean the police is coming. I didn't know I was the police. So it was 13 men, and then they ran from the cell. So I look in the cell wondering what was going on, because I just want everybody to be safe.
Right.
And it was this built dude, and he had 2 people in his hand. And he was going back and forth. So then I put out my spray, because nobody can ever train you for this.
Right.
And then I said, "Drop the penises." And then I said, "No, that don't sound right." So I went back out, and then I went back in. I said, "You're going to make me spray you." And then I just went to the control room, and I asked my sergeant, I said, "Was I supposed to spray him?" Because he was volunteering to do that. And he said I should have sprayed everybody involved.
Oh, my God.
Like I said, a lot of people don't, prep you for that. And
right.
It was like my second day. "Drop the penises," I said. And I didn't want to spray no fucking body, because I didn't know how. I know how that spray affected me when I got sprayed.
Right. But, yeah.
Yeah.
So they just do this behind the scenes and then just get back out on the street and act like nothing happened.
And go home to Laura, Vanessa.
Oh, God.
It's a lot.
Oh, my God. That is wild. I mean,
it's a lot of love stories.
A lot of love stories behind bars.
That's why when they tore down the criminal justice system, it was motherfuckers outside with rocks. Crying and shit. "Oh, I remember."
Back in my early days, years ago, only took about 20 years, when I would answer my own phones when people would call from the jail, I would hear people in the background say, "He's having a baby." And I was like, wait, did they say that he was having a baby? I would have to ask the defendant on the phone, wait, did they say that he was having a baby?
Some real funny, sweet people, some of the dudes that are comfortable in there. They'll be like, "I'm on my period," and they're bleeding and...
So when I say my clients would be on the phone trying to get bailed out of jail, and I would legit hear in the background, "He's having a baby." Walk me through that. What does "he's having a baby" mean? Because I didn't know.
I know the ones that say they on their period. That means somebody busted them open,
Oh my God.
They'll ask for tampons because they're bleeding from the back.
No. This is not real life.
It was real life.
That is horrible.
And that's on the county level.
I can't imagine the horror stories that I've heard, about what goes on in prisons. It's insane. I just don't understand how is this stuff allowed? How does this go on behind closed doors at the sheriff's department?
Yeah. It's just they have their own community. So if the officer's coming in every 30 minutes, you plan whatever you're going to do.
Right. Yeah. So walk me through the rest of your experience at the sheriff's department.
Wow. Which part? Listen, that
the
was
unfiltered part.
That was one of the best places ever, except when I started working here. It was an experience. I learned a whole lot.
Yeah.
I learned a whole lot. I met a whole lot of great people. Just because people are incarcerated, they become in survival mode and they do what they have to do while they're in there. But I played the dozens with them. They tried to get me to quit so many times because because they couldn't control me. They don't like to deal with something they can't control.
Of course. Yeah.
When them guys get in there and they start dating them flamboyant guys, I used to take them up the stairs, and I used to talk about them all the way up. Oh, yes, honey. The people that's really in tune with who they are, they used to date the guys when they got out. It was this young man. He was a man with a wig on and a dress, and he got to fighting with the baby mama in visitation, and that baby went everywhere. Baby was about 7 months old. I'm talking about they flipped that the stroller over. They're fighting for their man, you know.
Oh my
It's
God.
Man.
Wow, that's wild. I know that you have.
It was a lot of
wild stories,
experiences.
yeah. A lot of experiences. A lot of experience. So let's talk.
I learned
about,
a lot.
I bet you did. What was the final experience for you? What was your exit from the sheriff's department?
Oh, they couldn't have me leave, man. They helped me leave. I wasn't gonna go no motherfucking well.
How did they help you leave?
Oh, this young man, he came in, and my officer said that he had this gold grill in his mouth and he wouldn't take it out or whatever. And then everybody had warned him it got to go in his property. The guy had all rotten teeth or whatever, but when they go to the back and they get hit in the mouth for whatever reason, they'll swallow it, and they'll,
Yeah,
so
that's
we
awful.
just try to stop it. So if they hit you in the mouth, they'll knock out your rotten teeth. You won't swallow no fake gold grill. That was the last.
So you had
one.
to take the grill out.
No, it practically jumped in my hand. It was like, he got it from the dollar store or whatever. It wasn't even a real grill. But he said that he paid $5,000 to get that put in his mouth, and it was a lie. But guess what? By then, the sheriff's office, they was done with it. So they was like, oh,
Right.
poor thing.
But it was the best thing that ever happened to you because
You're right.
look how where you are now.
Thank you,
Shitting on these
motherfucker.
motherfuckers. The MVP of Brooks Bonding was
Yeah.
born.
Yeah.
Thank you, Darren Hall.
Thank you, Darren,
Thank you, Darren.
from the bottom of my heart.
And mine. All right,
Hey,
Josh.
I thank you very much for having me on your podcast.
Of course, yes. Thank you for being on my podcast at Misrepresented, where we talk about all things behind the scenes, unfiltered, and uncover the corruption. Thank you for being on here today. Just because you've been mistreated, misunderstood, or misrepresented does not mean that's where your story ends. Here on Misrepresented, we take your power back and we restore your story.
Stay tuned to what's next
Yes.
on Misrepresented.